This is Lily's Cowboys, Book 1 in the Second Chance series, by S.E. Smith. This book is read by Samantha Cooke. Chapter 1. Sometimes life begins after you die. Lily O'Donnell pulled her hat further down on her head, trying to protect her face as much as she could from the rain pouring down around her. She was drenched through to her skin and shivered as cold raindrops ran down under the collar of her jacket. She let out a tired sigh as she struggled. Her long dress wasn't helping matters, as it kept tangling around her legs, making each step on the 3-mile journey from town to home even more difficult. Pulling the small basket of dry goods she had picked up at the general store closer to her, she was just thankful she was almost home. At almost 18, she had taken over most of the work around the farm she and her mother lived on outside of the small town of Oak Grove, Oklahoma. It was all they had left, and they were determined to keep it. Her parents had moved out to Oklahoma 20 years before, wanting to make a new start away from the hectic life found in the city. It had been a difficult journey for her mother, but her father, Gerald O'Donnell, had wanted to find a place where he could farm and raise a family. Everything had been fine until 2 years ago, when a man from town named James Butler had started coming around. Lily didn't like him. Butler had been trying to pressure her father into letting him marry her. Lily's father had ordered the man away, but it was unnerving how often he still seemed to show up on or near their farm. When her father had died a year later in an accident while working with Butler, she had become suspicious and begged the sheriff to investigate. The sheriff could find no conclusive proof that Butler had anything to do with her father's fall off a barn roof they had been working on together at a nearby farm. Now with her father gone, Butler had begun pressuring Lily's mother, Maureen, to marry him. Lily's mother did what she could to discourage him, telling him over and over not to come around. Lily sighed again as she thought of the last few months. It had been very hard for them. She and her mother knew living on a farm would be hard. What they had not expected to discover was that for 2 women living alone on a farm, it was almost impossible, as the work and repairs were never ending. To compound matters, in recent weeks James Butler had been more insistent about coming out, ignoring Lily and her mother's protests that neither of them needed nor wanted his help. Yesterday, he had hidden in their barn and grabbed Lily when she had gone out to gather eggs. He had smelled heavily of alcohol and sweat, making her cringe in fear. She had fought him off, screaming when he grabbed her breast in a brutal grip, leaving dark, painful bruises behind. When she heard Lily's screams, her mother had rushed out of the house, clutching her husband's old shotgun to her chest. Butler had threatened them both, telling Maureen he was going to marry her whether she wanted to or not, and that Lily was going to be his too. Maureen, small-boned and delicate, had stood there with the heavy gun pointed at his chest, fearlessly demanding he leave and not come back. Lily had been hesitant to make the weekly journey to town, but they needed to get supplies and sell some of the items they had. So Lily had left early this morning to make the trip to town, hoping to be back before it began raining again. She took the items she and her mother had canned and fresh vegetables to Mr. Marshall at the local general store to help supplement their income once a week. They desperately needed the money, and Maureen had encouraged Lily to go, though it was against Lily's better judgment. It also gave her a chance to pick up any supplies they needed. Her mother normally took turns with her, but she had been ill and was too fragile to make the journey right now, especially with the rainy weather they had been experiencing recently. Lily had also stopped by the local sheriff's office to tell him what had happened. She was tired of them constantly having to look over their shoulders. After the incident yesterday, she was determined to end Butler's advances. She asked the sheriff if it would be possible for him to talk to Butler about staying away from them. The sheriff had explained he would talk to him, but suggested it might be a good idea if
Sample complete. Ready to continue?